There's something that I noticed when I watched the recent reveal trailer or the teaser trailer of Marathon, which I'm super excited it's coming out for the gameplay reveal on Saturday. But there are two very interesting things I noticed were drastically changed. One you can see right here and also in the next scene of this trailer when it comes to drastic changes of Marathon, which might be kind of sounding a little crazy and they'll look too much into the weeds, if you will, or I guess the swamp when it comes to finding out little details about this game. But I'm noticing something drastically different from the original teaser trailer that we saw not too long ago, and how credible insiders have pointed out how many maps are going to be in the game at launch. So like and subscribe for one more Marathon, and let's get right into those details. So yeah, mark your calendars, save the date, because on April 12th, we're finally getting a gameplay reveal of Marathon. I'm incredibly excited about this, as it's been a game I've been desperately following for ever since it was announced that it's actually going to be a thing. So make sure you guys save your time on the 12th to get a chance to watch some awesome Marathon excitement. Now I'm assuming we'll get like some gameplay, we'll get a bit of like what the game's about, what's the gameplay loop, what are all the classes, what are some of the guns and all that kind of stuff, which I covered in my previous video if you guys want to check that out. It will be linked at the end of this video. So that change I was mentioning earlier in this video that I think not a lot of people are talking about, at least I haven't seen much discussion about it, I think people are so blinded by the hype of this game, is I do believe that there has been a significant art style change to Marathon since the original teaser. And this leaf right here shows a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Now compare that to what we're seeing in this video right here. Now this is obviously hyper stylized realism, if that makes sense. Like, you can tell that like they wanted to go for a high fidelity kind of look when it comes to the game. Where yes, there is like a art style like I mentioned, but like it has its own visual appearance, its own art style. It stands out amongst the crowd, which is so important for games nowadays, which have been almost homogenized especially when it comes to using the Unreal Engine 5, but that's a whole other topic right there. But you see when they go like this sense of realism, like this place could exist within the world kind of stuff. It doesn't really feel like it's like the materials look real and everything looks like it could be something that could exist in the world of that we're going in for Tau Ceti. But in the recent reveal trailer, I noticed something very different that changed, and it reminded me a lot of the show Arcane. Now, I might sound a little crazy about that, but I also saw someone mention something very similar here on Reddit, which actually got a decent amount of votes on the subreddit here, talking about how it has a very stylized look to the game, which makes it almost look like it's like, say, like from the show like Arcane or something. You can see like how the leaves don't really look like realistic leaves, but like have a bit more of a kind of a drawn, painted style to it, if that kind of makes sense. I also noticed it right here with the ripples of the water. It looked very stylized. Let me go back a little bit so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. Just keep an eye on like the ripples of the water in the from the footsteps, right? Like it doesn't look like how you typically see water be interacted with in a video game. But you definitely tell there are physics happening there, so this is kind of like an in-engine kind of look. But same thing with this leaf as well, with the splatters on there. Like even like it looks stylized. It looks like it's almost kind of like has a cartoony kind of look to it, but not like in a bad way. There was also a really important fact when it comes to this cat that was shown to us, guys. Like this is really important information about this cat that you guys need to know. Is that it has a butt. But in all seriousness, we didn't really know there were going to be like wildlife in this game. I'm kind of curious how these cats will actually play out in the world, if it's just kind of like a fun little thing for this trailer, or if they actually have some type of gameplay mechanic. Maybe if you pet the cat, you revive your players. That would be amazing. Now we did see a beam of light shoot off right here, which could honestly mean a lot of different things. My interpretation is that since this player was killed by another one, and then we've seen his beam go up, my assumption this is probably a light letting you know that someone is going for an extraction right now, and that they get probably teleported out of the map in some kind of way. So then it kind of like warns people like, hey, there's some extraction happening, you can try to thirst them if you want, or something wild like that. From the only other casual extraction shooter, DMZ, had a kind of a similar thing where if you saw a helicopter coming in, that means someone was trying to exfil and leave the match, meaning that it probably warns everyone around you, and also the AI. They're like, yeah, they're trying to leave. You might want to, either camp it, pick off people who are trying to extract the steal their loot before they get out of the game. So this would be a mechanic I've seen done previously in other extraction shooters that I think would actually make sense. But it looks like you might not have to wait until Saturday, as it was recently talked about here on Insider Gaming. Talked about pretty much everything they know right now when it comes to Marathon, right? One of the big things is talking about the gameplay loop of essentially saying, choose your missions like you see in most extraction shooters, buy your perks, gears, abilities, and things like that. Drop into the server, hunt for loot, complete missions, explore, and find secrets. You extract, spend the XP on updates, and repeat. But a really interesting thing that's looking to separate Marathon from all the other extraction shooters is that there can be multiple maps for you to jump in. Recently reported here from Tom Henderson, a very credible leaker, says that a good look at one of the 3 maps that are going to come into this game. Which then makes me wonder like how many people are going to come into this map, right? If it's going to be smaller player pools but more maps. Now I really do trust Tom Henderson with this information on this one because he has so many insider information, hence insider gaming right here from this guy. And also that we've seen a lot of people recently come out saying they had a chance to play it, and you know, I'm sure that the information gets around from the people who need to know. Now with this being a brand new IP and a lot of people who might be the first time playing an extraction shooter, there's a lot of mechanics you need to figure out. Which would bring up this point from Paul Tassi, saying that pitch marathon mode that's only fighting map AI enemies / bosses in co-op to extract separate loot and upgrades from PvP, aka PvE mode for babies. There's a market for babies, and I would absolutely agree with that. One game that I've recently been playing for extraction shooters that has a PvE mode is a game called Gray Zone Warfare. Now this definitely leans much more into the hardcore extraction shooter side of things, but there is a PvP mode and a PvE mode. But I've only ever really played the PvE mode because it's a lot of different types of mechanics that I'm not used to, and I'm not used to playing against players that might be more no-life and super skilled players on the game. So jumping into a PvE mode, now they are separated servers, so you will have a PvP character and a PvE character as well, because obviously loot gains would be very different when it comes to those type of situations. But something like this would be huge for a game like Marathon, as like I said, there's gonna be a lot of people who this might be their first time playing an extraction shooter, and which has been mainly a more niche market when it comes to the FPS gaming. But Bungie's looking to take this mainstream. And if you just need more Marathon, guys, I got you covered. Just go over on Twitter to Joseph Cross right here. He's the franchise art director of Marathon over here. He's just been posting a lot of really interesting images. One kind of reference images that you'd find for Marathon, and also just images of Marathon itself, which are just, I love this art style. This aesthetic is so cool. I need to start playing this game. I can't wait till Saturday, guys. I'm just too excited about this. Now, if you're like me and still crazy excited about this reveal, guys, I will be live streaming it on Saturday on my channel at 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you subscribe to catch up. What are your thoughts on Marathon? What do you think about this information? Do you think about PvE mode would be pretty good? Let me know in the comments down below. If you made it this far in the video, hope, or you're like, maybe even a subscribe. And if you made it to the end of the video, leave a green heart. How about this time? A yellow heart, or maybe even a blue heart. Just leave a heart. How about that? Just let me know if you made it to the end so I know who the real ones are out there in the video. But again, guys, if you missed any content from me, especially my last Marathon video, check it out right here. And I'll catch you all guys all in the next one. Peace out.